Okay, 2012 CALLERLAB. This is the Activator Stream Patter Calling system. Here's the handouts. I just did this quadrant map. It's basically the same quadrants everybody uses. Everybody needs one of these. You want to pass these around. This I just did, so nobody has this yet. If you have my first book, book 1, you do not need this. It is lesson 0 and lesson 1 from the book. If you don't have the book, then get one of these. Get one of these. Can you help me pass them around? Okay. Super. Everybody gets the quadrant map. Everybody needs that. That is book 1. So if you got that, the handout is lesson 0, which is the preface, and lesson 1. Okay. Oh, they went back that direction. The quadrant maps went back that direction. Okay. I'm hoping I have at least 4 real women because to demonstrate properly we need a genetically correct square because it needs to be, we're doing a visual thing. You have to recognize all of this. Okay. And please note, if you want to, okay, who does not have a quadrant map yet? By the way, it is on the handout. If you got the CD in your packet, everybody got a CD. I got this thing submitted on time, so it is on the CD. You can print it out. This is the microphone here, so please do not question from the floor. Come and pick this microphone up. This session is being recorded. Okay, so we'll do that. First of all, thank you all for coming. Thank you for taking the time. Is there anybody here that knows absolutely nothing about the Activator Stream system? Absolutely nothing. Okay, we'll start that way. Do the same people know nothing about quadrants? Okay, we'll start with a basic explanation of that. So we've got a few more of these quadrant maps. They are on the CD. They are on the CD. Oh, yes, you are. There's my coffee. Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you. You're a kind soul. Okay, thank you, thank you. With my coffee break and I didn't get coffee. Okay. Good, good, good. First things first. By the way, does anybody want to video this thing on behalf of CALLERLAB? This will be posted somewhere. They don't know where yet, but does anybody want to run the camera? Okay. Now, you have to shoot it vertically. You press the red button to start it. The red button to stop it, but just let it run, and you can take different views, etc. Okay. Can we have a square, please? 8 people. 4 women, 4 men. I don't care which. We're going to put the number 1 couple on your side. I'm going to come over there so that you get the same view. We're all looking at the same thing. Okay. Need a square. Okay. Let's make sure music works here. Oh, my computer is acting up. Okay. We'll do that later. Okay. Shoot from that side. From that side, because that's the number 1 couple there. I'm going to walk over there. Oh, it's going to... Oh, okay. All right. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. We need a, oh, she is. Okay. Very good. Thank you. All right. Now, the quadrant system will always keep you in sequence all the time. At the beginning and at the end, you're always going to be in sequence. If you stay within the system, you're not going to have anything to worry about with sequencing. Now, number 1 couple, the only person you need to watch in the system is this number 1 man. Where he is and what quadrant he's in, so I hope you're up to the task. Okay? Because the quadrants are here and here. See, these people, they are in the southwest quadrant. If you're looking at it like a map, southwest quadrant. The problem with most square dance choreography is it does this. Head square through 4. Oh, we have a flat tire. Sorry. Did you get that fixed? Okay. This man always ends up in the southwest quadrant. That's way, way, way too consistent. Okay, step back home. Now, the activator system does this. Heads, just step in and face your corner. Now, this is a standard box. This is the 0 box. This is also an activator box. But here's what is not a 0 box. Everybody touch a quarter and roll to face. This is also an activator box. Okay? Let's just have you 2 box the net and you 2 box the net. So all the boys will be in the middle. This is also an activator box. Everybody touch a quarter and roll to face. This is also an activator box. You see how it doesn't matter because these 2 are still in the same quadrant. And I don't know if you do it this way, but can we still run the bases in the proper order? 1, 2, 3, 4. You're running the bases. We're in sequence. Okay, so activator number 1 looks like this. We can step to either right or left wave, turn any fraction we want, or any combination thereof. So touch a quarter, that's the fraction. Now, centers trade. If it's same sex, I always advocate say boys trade. So now it's going to be centers run. So boys run, Ferris wheel, and centers pass through. Okay. Do you see they're back in the southwest quadrant? Activator number 1 brought them back to the southwest quadrant. Okay. Now, did you notice we changed the active couple without even thinking about it here? We went from a boy-boy, girl-girl facing these walls to a standard facing these walls. So it looks all different to the dancer, but not to you. Let's do this. If you want to play a little with left-handed material, a little bit at a time, this is a good way to start. Left touch a quarter. Check a wave. Centers trade. Centers run around the ends. Ferris wheel. Centers pass through. They're back in the same quadrant. Now, in a minute, I'll show you the always get out. That always works. But if you see the situations, where, like the situation where the girls are doing the pass-through, they went to the middle on the Ferris, so you're seeing it then. That's the beginning of sight calling. And Cram's calling is recognizing where you are before you get there. We saw the girls coming to the middle. They did the pass-through. So we have two choices right now for a specialty get out. And it starts this way. Touch a quarter and extend. Now, if I want them to right and left grand and promenade home, we're in position for right and left grand. But if you say extend at mainstream like this and you want them to have a wave in the middle, you have to directionally cue it. Because technically you cannot call that at mainstream. Just say extend and expect them to know this. So you can say extend and make a wave in the middle. Now, original side boys, run around your girl and bend the line. The heads do a U-turn back and we're home. Now, let me show you, by the way, anybody has a question, raise your hand, come over here and pick up the mic and ask it. Okay? Feel free to interrupt me at any time. Okay. Now, let me show you a starter, and a starter takes you to an activator box. A get-in takes you to a 0 box. We don't do that here. We do starters. So let me show you one that'll put you in a different quadrant. Heads pass through. Separate around one, make a line. Pass through. Wheel and deal girls to the middle. Girls do a U-turn back. Can we run the bases? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they all looking at their corner? Okay. So, now the beauty of this, and this is where the quadrant map comes in handy. If we do the always get out, or a specialty get out, sorry about that. His right ear is going to be numb if I'm not careful here. If he's in, number one man, is in this northeast quadrant when we start our get out. If it's to a right and left grand, he's going to meet his partner at the North Pole. And when he finishes, he'll be at the South Pole, which means you can say right and left grand without the Alaman left and without a promenade home. This is how you basically construct your wow get-outs. Anytime you don't have to say Alaman, right and left grand, and promenade home, you've got a wow get-out. Touch a quarter, extend and right and left grand, and you're home. Now, works either heads or sides, so we're going to use that same starter with a variation. We'll start with this. Sides pass through. Separate round one, make a line. Pass through. Now this time, a little more wind in the face. Instead of saying wheel and deal, we've pre-planned we're going to say tag the line. This gives us a chance to use tag the line from a position we might not ordinarily call it from. A boy, boy, girl, girl, all facing out. I'm going to have to take a short break in a second. I think it changed frequencies on that microphone. Okay. Tag the line all the way through. So do we want to have them face right or left this time? Can't do that. That's not a choice. Face right. Ferris wheel. That's the point. Everybody says in or out from this position, and that's what we don't want to do. That's called boring. Centers pass through. Are we in an activator box? 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all facing their corner. But this time I got the boys in the middle. Now, let's just say as the boys did the Ferris to the middle, we saw this guy get a little nervous. This is different material. But we don't want that guy to know that we had to get out in a hurry because of him. That's called embarrassment. So what we do is this. We convert to a more module appearing choreography. Touch a quarter. Girls trade, swing through. Boy run around the girls. See, I've inverted the quadrants. Bend the line, slide through. And before I say Alaman left, I've already noticed that he's in this quadrant. Alaman left, do a right and left grand. And when I finish the grand, you are home. And you knew that in advance, so we made the adjustment because we saw somebody bobble. Okay, why don't you sit down for just a second, talk to your corner for a second. I'm going to change frequencies on the microphone. Turn it off. You can start it up again. Okay. Okay. Different frequency? Yes, it is. Yeah, I do. Second books are here. Yes. Second book has been released. So we're going to show you a little bit of material. Any questions so far? Sir? Yes. Yeah, especially from Scott. He asks really good questions.
Scott Byers, Sacramento, California. If you're only watching one man, how can you tell that they're all in sequence?
Because the activator system does that for you. As soon as you step out of the system by saying face out after that tag the line, you've stepped out of the activator system and you're on your own. Do you want to be on your own? That's cool. Go ahead. But that's how it takes care of it for you.
Okay. I'm going to need more convincing.
Any other question at this point? Okay. Gesundheit. Wipe your hand off. Okay, can we have another square? Over and over and over and over. Three. All right. Stuff is acting up, and I don't know why. Okay. Now, let's see what we have here. Let's make sure. I'm going to switch over to the wired mic. This. Okay, are we hot? All right, good. Okay. You're watching the number one man. Now, if you're a side caller, you're thinking, no, wait a minute. I've got to watch these four. And if you want to go into side partway through, then you need to keep track of these people. Okay, now, I want you to watch where they are every time because the system is written and invented that way. Now, let's do this. Heads pass through. Watch him. Separate. Round one. Make a line. Watch that number one man. Okay. Where he is right now doesn't make any difference. We're not to the end of that starter yet. Pass through. Tag the line all the way through. This time, let's everybody face left. This starter gives you a chance to work face left or right after that tag when we always say in or out. It's called variety. Ferris wheel. You cue that as a back door in, girls to the middle, however you do it. Girls pass through, and you know ahead of time that's an activator box. That is correct. You are facing your corner in that quadrant, and the boys are in sequence. You know all the boys are facing the corner, and everybody's in sequence. You know that at the beginning and the end. Okay. So let's just assume we want to do this again, but we want to do it left-handed. We want to practice left-handed stuff. Left touch a quarter. Certainly not the first tip or the last tip of the night. Maybe tip 3, and you do it one time. The first time. You do this a little bit at a time. That was our quarter. But let's say we're practicing scoot back, and we have to admit someday that when we told them scoot back is a right-handed call, we have to tell them we lied. I know that. I didn't, and you didn't, but some of them did. Shh. Now, it's inside hand, so it's left hand this time. Scoot back. Did I change anything with the quadrants? As long as I do it right here, in that first initial fraction of that activator, it doesn't matter. Well, now I want them to practice. Scoot back left-handed again. But my number one man, he had a little problem with that. She had to fight with him a little bit, so I want to do it a third time. Here's the problem with working scoot backs. You got to do them in even numbers. Not here. You put them here, scoot back, left-handed. Oh, they got it. I don't need to do a fourth one. It doesn't matter. Centers trade. Centers run around the ends. Ferris wheel this way. And I see, I'm going to say centers pass through, and I'm going to get out in a hurry. Hold, not yet, please. I'm going to say centers pass through, Alaman left, right, left, grand, and when you're done, you're home. Why? Because he's in that quadrant. I know their standard. I know I don't need another get out. Centers pass through, Alaman left. Do a right and left grand, and I know all this ahead of time, so I've got more time to watch when that smile goes flat. Square your sets. Or maybe somebody's smile gets a little larger. Any other questions to this point? Okay, let me show you a starter from the second book. Because this was invented, these two starters were invented by a guy named Michael Hayworth in California. And these starters start like a gotcha, and before you know it, there's wind in the face, and it's the kind of thing I've gotten every square can do. I've people that I can't do it past the ocean, but the boys going to the middle can do this. Heads touch a quarter. All the girls pass through. Everybody face in, lines of 4, move up to the middle and back. Pass through, wheel and deal, boys to the middle, boys pass through, and I know before I've gotten there, activator box. Yep. You're in sequence, facing the corner. But I also know that the boys might be fighting each other on that wheel and deal. So I might have to convert to module calling right then, but I know if I do a touch a quarter, I got the girls in the middle of the wave. So, touch a quarter, girls trade, swing through, boy run around the girl, bend the line, no quick out here, slide through, Alaman left, but I can always say come back and promenade 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, because they were there, they're here, and I make it sound like I know what I'm doing. You don't actually have to know what you're doing. You can make it sound that way. Any questions to this point? Okay, let me show you the always get out. Let's do the same set of a start with you, okay? Sides touch a quarter, the same starter, Girls pass through, everybody face in, lines of 4. Pass through, wheel and deal. Boys to the middle. Okay, now we're going to do the always get out this time, okay? Boys pass through, star through. Now, the boy pass through was the end of the activator. The star through was the beginning of the always get out. So we actually called right over the seam between the two. This is how we all never get a wow, is because we always give it away. With our body language, with the tone of our voice, the wow isn't there if you give it away. When you can cover up the seam between the two, you're not giving it away. Those facing out California twirl. Although I could have called bend the line. It wouldn't have made any difference. Bend the line. Did they change the quadrant? Bend the line again to face in. Did they change the quadrant? Okay. And then you finish with this, square through 3. Alaman left. And you can promenade 4 steps. And you're home. Okay, now here's a variation, another starter that does a similar thing. Heads left touch a quarter. Now, boys pass through. Centers pass through. Everybody face in lines of 4. Get used to seeing this half sachet. This gives you some really cool get outs. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Keep her on your left, guys. Keep her on your left. Keep her on your left. Centers pass through. Everybody pass through. Do a right and left grand. And I know when he finishes the grand, he's going to be where? And you know it ahead of time. There's no guessing. No guessing. Okay. Now, this activator system also gives you the ability to toy with non-symmetrics, unsymmetrics, asymmetrics, however you say that. Let's do this. Heads just step to the middle, face your corner, pair off. Okay, now. In the near column, that's the 4 people nose to back. You got to define it. The 4 people nose to back that are nearest the caller in each square, and you'll see them start to point at each other. Okay, just you people. Touch a quarter, roll to face. Just you, not you. This is asymmetric, but not to the activator system. We'll do activator number 1 because that brings the number 1 man back to this quadrant so I can Alaman left in your home after they always get out. Touch a quarter. Centers trade. Centers run around the ends. Ferris wheel. You don't think they think this looks weird? Centers pass through. Star through. Those facing out. California twirl. Move up to the middle and back. Square through 3. That's why I always say up the middle and back at that point. Alaman left, and you're home because on the spur of the moment, some people don't know where their face is. That's true fact. That's true fact. Okay, any questions to this point? Any questions? John, are you awake? Okay, I thought so. I'm sorry. Okay, on the mic, please.
Your name? Jeff from St. Augustine, Florida. What by facing his corner, it's in an activator square, or what did you call it?
Activator box. Heads, step to the middle, face your corner. We know this as a 0 box.
Anytime he's in any position facing his corner, it's an activator box.
If you're within the activator stream system, when he's facing his corner, all the other guys are, and everybody's in sequence. All the time. Okay, Scott.
Can you describe what you mean by an activator system?
The activator system is using the activator starters in the books, the starters that will put you from a squared set into an activator box. Activator box is any box like this where you're facing your corner in sequence, but I don't care who did a box the net and who didn't. So whoever wants to, box the net. As long as you don't all do it. Okay. Just to be weird, you two do it also, if you would please. So now I've got 3 girls in the middle. Okay, that would have been the number 3 man in his corner did a box the net there. Okay, put Scott in the middle with all the girls. This works. So at this point, we simply stay within the activator system. So if we do activator number 1, touch a quarter, but we've already done this once, so what the heck? Did you touch a quarter? Okay.
Well, he said activator number 1.
Oh, you misunderstood me by over-listening. Okay. Scoot back. Just a change. And check a wave. Good. Centers trade. Centers run around the ends. Ferris wheel. And I'm reminding myself this is asymmetric, so I have to use the always get out. Centers pass through. Star through. Connect in lines of some kind. Just for sanity's sake, bend the line. Do a right and a left through and turn the girl. And I'm really sick of this slide through an Alaman left. So we're going to do this because I know he's an Alaman left away from being home. And we're standard now because we're in the middle of the always get it. I'll do this. Pass through. Centers, do a U-turn back, ends face in, centers back up, and you're home. It's called a wow get out. Okay. Questions at this point?
So essentially what you're doing is you're memorizing calls just like you would do in modules to put you in specific positions and then calls to get you out of those positions?
Yeah, it's similar to modules. Let's put it this way. If you're in it from a zero box, if you memorize 3 modules, you can put them in together in any order you want. So there's 6 possible different sequences you can develop. With a variable of 10, 5 left-handed and 5 right-handed on each one of these, you now have 6,000 possible combinations. And I'll show you one in a minute where it adds a yes or no variable in, and you put that into any 3, and there's 12,000 possible combinations by learning 3. You're looking at me like, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. Sides pass through. Separate round 1, make a line. We've seen this one. Pass through. Tag the line all the way through. We're going to face right or left? Face right. Ferris wheel. Only this time, everybody veer left. Extend and half tag. And we can immediately go into module choreography or sight. Because we saw the boys going to the middle the girls going, how do we do that? The boys going to the middle on the Ferris, and it was a clockwise Ferris. So we could all veer left, extend, and half tag, and almost every mainstream dancer can do that because it's in front of them and they're moving in the flow. Okay. So this time, just to be different, we're going to do Activator 3, and it's Activator 3R, because it only works right-handed. And that's going to move the number 1 man 1 quadrant clockwise. Now, if you'd started over there, you'd be here. But I've got you started here. So I know when you're done, you're going to be here. And I can always get out Alaman left and bow to the partner who stirred the bucket. And I know that ahead of time. Everybody cast off 3/4 round, check a brand new wave. This is Activator 3R. This one you'd memorize. Centers trade. That's any fraction that's right-handed. And now we continue with the same calls. We did a centers trade. Now centers run. And this time bend the line. Pass through. Wheel and deal. And the girls pass through. And look at this. Only I don't want to star through because that does not have wind in the face. And they did a pass through. Let's do this. Touch a quarter. Okay. Scoot back. All right. Good. Swing through. Boy run around the girl. See, now we're back to normal appearing stuff. Ferris wheel. Centers star through back up, and you've stirred the bucket if that's your thing. Okay. Circle left a couple of steps. Did you see how I converted from the activator system into a module? Just to get the wind in the face. There's too much silence in here.
That's because you got the deer in the headlights. I have to ask another question. Okay.
Scott asked a good question.
I know. I asked, crazy question. Scott Byers. Question on this. Is this similar? Are you creating a system similar to or with similar type of to mental imagery? Because then I know what we're talking about.
No, well, mental imagery is one of two things. It's either burnt image, where you memorize and bring people back to the same thing. So which mental image are you speaking?
I'm talking about out of sight mental imagery where you click, you keep track of X's and O's.
The problem with X's and O's, that system is if you X somebody, you got to X them back through with the same person, the same spot in the square. That does not. This is more like memorizing modules with a variable. So it's really more of a pre-crams system. We're watching the number 1 man. You're building a choreo base in your head so you can switch over to crams site at some point and just use this as your backdrop.
But I don't see you. I'm sorry. I probably need to use the microphone. And I'm sorry to be argumentative. I don't see you just watching the number 1 man. You're watching the number 1 man and his corner is what you're doing. And you're making sure that the men are in sequence.
I am pointing that out to try and dispel the deer in the headlight look.
Okay.
When I'm actually calling, I only have to worry about him. Okay, Dottie?
Can you go through one of these and tell us, okay, now I'm going to use this without the extras that, oh, and by the way.
Okay. All right, I've decided ahead of time that I'm going to use the gotcha to wind in the face starter that puts the number one man from his beginning squared set position in the southwest quadrant to the northeast quadrant. I'm then going to go into activator number one right-handed, which will return you to that quadrant. I will then use the always get out, Alaman left, right, and left grand, and you're home.
Okay, so basically 3 modules, sort of.
So it's the starter, it's one activator module, then it's the always get out. That's the get out. And then you're going to Alaman left, right, and left grand, and you're going to be home at the end, and I know that. Because I know the starter's going to put you there. Activator number one is going to return the number one man to that quadrant where he began, that activator, which is the northeast. And when you begin the right and left grand, you'll be at the North Pole. You'll be at the South Pole when you finish. And I know that ahead of time. So, heads, left touch a quarter. I want your attention, so I'm going to do this way. Boys pass through. Centers pass through. All face in, check lines. Good. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Keep the girl on your left. Keep the girl on your left. Good. Centers pass through. Touch a quarter. Scoot back. I'm going to throw that in for nothing because a scoot back is everything, and it's also nothing. Scoot back. Scoot back again because the girls never get to do it twice when the boy does it once, and somebody just griped about that. Centers trade. Centers run around the ends. Ferris wheel. Centers pass through. Star through. There he is. Those facing out California twirl. Lines up to the middle and back. Square through 3. It's okay. It'll go away in a second. Alaman left. Do a right and a left grand. And when you finish, you are... There you go. And all I care about is him. No offense. All I care about is that one man, number one man. Now, if I want to branch into sight in the middle of all of this, I really have to know what I'm doing, and I'm going to watch all 4 of you. But if I'm staying within the activator system, I only care about him, and I only care about him if I want a specialty get out. If I'm just going to say Alaman left and promenade home, I don't even care about him. I just care about remembering which calls my sequences.
So you have a series of memorized modules.
That's what an activator is. It's a module with a variable.
Okay, I got it. Light went on.
Oh, good. Okay. Now, sometimes, club callers always go through the thing, get this question all the time, and it relates to how do I do something different without getting more difficult? And sometimes we go to teaching a call that we'll do for that night and they'll never see it again. I personally am against it when you can do something like this. Side square through 4 and put centers in between the outside 2, and you're going to have to yell at this guy. Between, because he's going to want to step to a wave with this girl. You have an inverted line. But since they're accustomed to hearing centers in and cast 3/4, I'm going to call it that way. We did put centers in, cast off 3/4. Check a brand new line. Do not change anything. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Because now we're going to, rather than teach a new call they'll never hear again, we're going to teach them some of these inverted line circulates, which will help us when we teach them load the boat in 3 months. When you do a circulate, the end goes to the other end. The centers are going straight across. You're going to pass right shoulders. Let's try it. All 8 circulate. Now, the activator we're in was put centers in, cast any fraction, all 8 circulate, cast any fraction. Now, those of us who have been calling for a while, we know if we do that from waves, we've got our corner again if we started with our corner, but we don't know if they're in sequence or not. When you have them in inverted lines, they are always in sequence. You never have to worry about sequencing, ever. But if I want you to be the end facing out for your circulate again, I do this. Everybody cast off 3/4. And I should have been pointing it out with the number one man, but anyway. So now, once again, ends to the other end, centers across. Okay. All 8 circulate. and they're back with their corner. Okay? Now, some people would be comfortable to get back to, this is the end of the activator, but it's not an interchangeable activator with others. You have to put them in a facing activator box to do that. So the easy way to do that, some people are comfortable with saying hinge and roll to face. So why don't we just go ahead and do that? Hinge and roll to face, and there's your activator box. At this point, they probably had enough of me. Star through. We're all facing out. Partner trade to face back in. And rather than square through 3 and Alaman left, since I'm a square through 3 away and the boys are still in sequence, I might do this. Circle left, everybody. Circle left. Roll away and do a right and left grand. And you got a wow get out that they will all do. Promenade home. All because I was a square through 3 away from an Alaman left in a standard setup. Any questions at this point?
Samuel Mestel from New Albany, Indiana. So me and my corner, we're over there in that quadrant, the northeast quadrant. Yes. So once we're in there, are you able to switch to sight, dance us all over the place, and then as long as you get me in my corner back to that quadrant, you're in the same spot?
I would never sight without getting back to a standard situation first. You know, unless you really, really, really know your choreography, which is the problem with crayons. You have to really, 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 really know your choreography to get it done. So what I would do is I would find a way to get it back to standard choreo. So let's do the starter where you're going to end up over there, and it's going to be that weird setup, and I will immediately convert it to a 0 box, and then I'll go into some module choreography. Okay, blending from one to the other. Okay, heads, left touch a quarter. Boys pass through. Centers pass through. Everybody face in, check lines. Pass through, wheel and deal. Pretty strange stuff for some people. Okay, there you go. Keep running your left. Centers pass through. Oh, touch a quarter. Let's see, what is this? Oh, good. Boys are facing out. Boy run around the girl. Good, standard. Do a right and a left through. Turn the girl. Now they're on the outside facing the part. Past the ocean. We're in a regular wave. Swing through into module calling. Girls circulate. Boys trade. Boy run around the girl. Bend the line. Good. Move up to the middle and back. Do a right and a left through and turn the girl. Pass through. Bend the line. Now we're in sequence. Touch a quarter. Circulate. Boy run around the girl, and he's in this quadrant. Let's do this. Touch a quarter, centers trade. This is activator 3R. Boy run around the girl. Centers run around the ends. Hello, pay attention. Bend the line, pass through, wheel and deal. Boys pass through. Good. Star through. Those facing out. California twirl. Lines up to the middle and back. Oh, I'm going to get weird on them. Do a right and a left through. We're going to stir their bucket. Good, 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 good. Okay, everybody box the net. Everybody let go. The ends face in. We're squared up right here. Bow to the partner, bow to the corner. And we have stirred the bucket. Okay, thank you. Why don't you take a seat? Anybody have any questions at this point? We appreciate the square there. Okay, this is, yeah, questions and everything, yeah.
Aaron Byers. Now, I think, if I'm correct, that you have a book where you have given them all of these different modules that they can put, 2 books, where he's given you all these modules that they can put together, that they can memorize and put together. So you're not asking them to make up their own starters and activators at the very beginning. You're giving them some to start with so that they can take it further from there, right?
That is correct, and thank you for the leading question. You're falling apart at the seams there. Okay. Yes, I have 2 books, and everything we're doing today is included in those books. And no, I don't want you writing your own activators. If you think you've written one, email it to me. Let me vet it first. Okay? Because I've had people try this, and they create stop breaks where they really need the wind in the face, and they keep the wind in the face when they really need to have a stop break. And that's the whole point, is they have to be crafted just right so it works for the dancers and it works to mix with other choreography. Okay, we have a question. Thank you for taking the time to come to the microphone, Ed.
Oh, Claflin from central Nebraska. Is this similar to your windmill system that was developed a few years ago, whereas you're actually following the number one man, and as long as you don't train the ladies, then you can follow the number man back to his original starting position? Is this kind of a similar track as we're doing?
Same, only different. It's the same, only different. The windmill system, which I only used a little bit in my career, but it pretty much required standard choreography because it had star throughs and right and left throughs in it. So it had to be standard. You had to make sure you didn't chain the ladies. In the activator system, you're dancing with everybody. You're mixing with all kinds of different people as you do it. So it's only similar in that you only have to keep track of the number one man. That's the only true similarity.
Jay Haynes, Pennsylvania. Can you add calls from other programs like Plus?
Good question. The two books, they talked a hair about that, but not really, because the whole idea is if you want to have good Plus dancers, they really have to know mainstream. And they don't really know mainstream because we treat 4 calls as if they're calls when they really, really, really are rudiments. Circulate. Look at the different things we did with circulate. Circulate is absolutely critical. Trade, run, and cast-offs. All kinds of cast-offs. Almost everything we do consists of those in some combination. You want to start another square for me and I'll show you? I need 7 more people. Thank you. Question?
Walter Bro, Birmingham, Alabama. You said you had a starter, an activator, and a get out. Basically, with the starter and the get out, you're doing multiple modules within the activator. Is that what you're saying?
Well, first of all, let's not confuse terminology. Module has to do with module calling. An activator is defined as a module with a variable. So what we're doing is an activator. You put it all together. That's a new term. It's called a stream when you put it all together from home to home. That's a stream. And you have to have a starter, which takes you from the squared set into the activator box. You do whatever activators you want to do, and then you do a get out. And the get out is either the always get out or some specialty get out based on the position you've cited. Okay? So the question, who asked the question? You did. Oh, you were hiding behind her. That's what it was. Okay. So, repeat your question because it kind of left me.
Can you add calls from other programs like Plus?
Programs. Okay. All right. Let's. One thing callers ask me a lot is, how do I do trade the wave to an Alaman left? How do you set that up conveniently? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a normal get in, and then I'll do activator number 3R with a quarter fraction. It'll put us in a weird setup, and then I'll show you how you convert and use that trade the wave. Okay, how you would substitute that in for another call. And so basically, instead of the square through 3, Alaman left, you're going to call pass the ocean and trade the wave. That's what it amounts to. So heads, instead of square through 4, heads just pair off face your corner. Let's do that. Touch a quarter. Centers trade. Centers run around the ends. Bend the line. Okay. Ooh, I saw a bobble. Passed through. Wheel and deal. Ooh, let's see. Boys pass through. Is everybody facing their corner? And you know why I said that? Because if that girl's not facing her corner, she will find him faster than a streak of lightning. Okay. Star through. Those facing out. California twirl. We're all facing in. Now, instead of the square through 3, do a right and a left through. Let's see. Oh, no. Now I'm having a brain burp. Who's your partner when you started this mess? Who's your partner? Okay, I should never call the right and left through, so I'm going to call it again. Do a right and a left through. Yeah. Pass the ocean. Take a peek. Trade the wave. Alaman left. Anybody want to see that again? Okay. Let's do it with just normal appearing choreography. Sides, square through 4. Okay. Slide through. Past the ocean. And that inverted that. Now that theory right there is the windmill system. We just crossed them. You see what I'm saying? Took these two from this quadrant there and take those two over here. So I could swing through twice and that would put them both back over here. I could girls trade and recycle. That would put them both back over here, but we want to do this instead. We want to get them both back over here. Instead of right-handed, we want them left-handed when they come back to the quadrant where they belong. Take a peek. Trade the wave. Alaman left. And you square your sets. Okay. Now, let me show you one that's in the second book. This is a weird factoid. Heads. This has to be the heads. You have to start it with the heads. Heads do a right and left through. And star through. Now, the first time you call this, you do the following. Double pass through. Everybody, partner trade, roll to face and check lines. Okay, so now all of a sudden we're in something that appears a little different than the usual. Pass through, wheel and deal. Take hands, guys. You're in the middle, guys. You're in the middle, guys. Get the girls behind you. Okay, good. Boys pass through. Oh, my blood sugar's dropping, and I'm losing. Who'd you start with? Okay, go back home. Let's start again. Sorry, guys. I have blood sugar issues. My brain's not working. I may have to. I got some glucose tablets. I might grab some of those in a minute. Oh, can we put you back in here? Thank you. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Heads pass through. Separate round one, make a line. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Okay. Girls pass through. Touch a quarter. I want to be more normal. Boys trade. Boy run around the girl. Ferris wheel. Good. Centers pass through an Alaman left, and you can take your partner and you can promenade home. Are we out? See? Yeah, go home. Brain's not working. Go home. Brain quit. Okay. So, yeah. Take a short break. Take about 2 minutes, okay? Take about 2 minutes. Okay, while I'm getting my brain back in, I just had a question on my amplification. For some reason, there was a snafu, and I didn't get a Hilton in here. So I brought my own in. I don't use Hilton on a regular basis. I have a Behringer mix board, which has it throws all the sound in 2 channels. You go to a monitor channel, get voice only for your hearing enhancement. And it has bass, treble, and mid on all the channels. So, and it throws it to this power amp. I got that at an opening day special. That was $200, and this I got on eBay for $79 and free shipping recently. So you put that together with a speaker and a cord, and I'm up and running for under $400. You know. Is that a question you want on tape? Oh, well, okay. It doesn't have to be. This is optional.
Jim Wright from Kansas City. You know, I've got your book one, and I honestly haven't had a whole lot of time to study it. But this is maybe the second or third time I've heard you discuss this. As a brand new caller, how does this really affect me? Because actually I've seen questioning looks from a couple of people too. How does this help me as a brand new caller? I guess that is the question.
Well, let me ask.
They normally give you two because they don't last very long.
Oh, we have too much hot air for the video recorder. Okay. Thanks for doing that. Okay, to answer the question, first of all, you have to decide if you want to do the same old boring thing that everybody's been doing for the last 100 years, or if you want to actually sound to whoever you're calling to, if you want to sound like you're getting a little better every week. Okay? And if you do, you stay with the right-handed 1/4 fraction, maybe a scoot back thrown in, and you do it once in a while, mixed in with the module stuff you know.
I can answer some of it as well to that. Scott Byers, to answer the question for a newer caller, what this helps you do is control what's happening on the floor. A lot of times I see newer callers, when they start out calling sight calling, for example, they get themselves into so much trouble not knowing that the men are on the wrong side, the ladies are on the other. This keeps that from happening because these are written modules or patterns of things that work. So that's one of the things that it does.
Good point. You would want to do, say, a starter and, say, 2 activators, or maybe the same activator with a different usage, and you get out and have that written out ahead of time and know it, because now you can watch the dancers and you can perfect your timing. Because it's like Marshall Flippo says, there's timing and there's flow and then there's all the other stuff. Timing and flow are very, very important. Okay, can we put a square together here? I tried to turn it on. It would not turn on. Not saying I pushed the right button, you know. The glucose is just kicking in, but thank you. Okay. Okay. What call from the next level do you want to see added in? That doesn't help. Okay. 1, 2.
So can you show, like, this set of calls that is to get into your activator box? Show that, and then show, like, an example of a activator box, whatever your activator module or whatever it's called is.
Okay. So break it into pieces. Okay. So here is a series of calls that would be considered a starter that does not take you to an activator box. Actually, it doesn't take you to a standard box, it takes you to an activator box. Heads pass through. Separate, round 1, make a line. You've seen this so far a couple of times. Pass through. Tag the line all the way through, and nobody wants to say face left, and I want you to say face left once in a while. Face left. Ferris wheel. If they turn to the left, you can tell them their left hand's on the opposite side as their right foot, or something like that. Girls pass through, and we know as the girls pass through, that's going to be the end of the starter and the beginning of the activator box, or the always get out. We're in the activator box. We're going to begin an activator, or we're going to start the get out. Now let's do this. Girls unpass through, because we see the girls are passing through at the last part of the starter, and we see they've all done it. So we want to continue with activator 3R. Girls pass through, touch a quarter, and you see the pass through was the end of the starter. The touch a quarter was the beginning of the activator, but you never saw the seam between the two. Now, boys trade. Boy run around the girl. Bend the line. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Now, I know we're standard and we're all doing this, but you're all doing it, so I don't want to be boring and just call centers pass through and Alaman left and promenade home, because I need brain rest. I don't want to do that. I want to go into activator 2 because I want people to know who the leaders are. And that's what Activator 2 does. It'll teach who the leaders are. So I know that as we centers pass through, we're going to touch a quarter. As we centers pass through, that's the end of that activator. Now, the touch a quarter is going to be the start of the next one. Centers pass through, touch a quarter. That's the beginning of activator number 2. Centers trade, spin the top, swing right, left 3, move up, move up, move up, title, 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 good, 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 good. They can do that, but that's how I help the dancers, okay? I'm trusting of this square. They can do that. Everybody hinge. Now, who are the leaders? They're looking around like, a leader is a person. Now, here's the mistake we make. When we teach leaders, we teach it as those that are facing out or out of the box. Well, poor old Scott here is saying, how can I be facing out? I'm looking at 4 people over there. Think about this as a dancer. So, where is your box of 4? A leader is a person that has their back toward the center of that box. So now who are the leaders? Leaders do a U-turn back, and we're in an activator box. You want to play with spin the tops so they know their fractions and they can maintain their handedness. Left touch a quarter. Centers trade. Spin the top, because that starts with the end every time. Boy 3/4 and the girl walk up. Personal opinion, it's better to do that than teach them a call they'll never hear again. Left hinge. Now, who are the leaders this time? The boys are. Boys do a U-turn back, and I know they're standard. So I could say Alaman left, but I don't really want to do that because now I'm boring because he's here. That means Alaman left. He's going to have to right and left grand, which means he's going to be, instead of, since he's southeast quadrant, he's going to meet his partner for the grand at the east pole. He's going to finish at the west pole. He's going to promenade, and I'm going to have to do the boring thing of Alaman left, right, left, grand, and promenade home, and I don't want to do that. Okay? So I might convert to a module that I know. Touch a quarter, walk and dodge, partner trade, pass through, wheel and deal. I know he's home. I know I'm a center's pass through away from an Alaman left, but center's star through and back up in your home. I converting to the module. That was a module. I converted from the activator to a module. Now, in terms of the new caller, you have to know your modules. You have to know the stuff that's used all the time, that's overused, and all of that stuff. And the reason is, if you step too far out of that normal, they don't trust you that you know what you're doing yet. So, and it's more important that they believe you know what you're doing. You understand what I mean? It's all perception. So, we get them going. So, we've called a few tips. They know me a little bit, and I want them to know I'm working on this stuff. So, head square through 4 after I've called head square through and side square through. We're going to start again. Head square through 4. Touch a quarter. Make sure you join hands and waves, everybody. Centers trade. Centers run around the ends. Ferris wheel. Did that put all the boys in the middle? You can ask them. Get their agreement. Get their agreement. Boys pass through. Touch a quarter. Girls, please connect. Please connect, girls. There you go. Good. And don't do this. Don't call a swing through. You just did a touch a quarter. Now you're going to call swing through? You have just told them you know nothing about what you're doing. Don't do that. Girls trade. Swing through. Now that's the windmill. We've inverted them. Boy, run around the girl. Bend the line. Pass the ocean. Okay, hang with me on this one, everybody. Okay, so now we're going to go into activator 3R. Somebody flipped on a yeah, wow. The signal just went. Okay. Good point. Good point. Okay. Oh. Now. Oh, okay. Now I really want to appear what I'm doing, but now he's on the end. He's in the home quadrant, but she's not. Original head girl, run right. Original head girl, run right. Ends face in. At that point I go,
Scott Byers again. Can you change the activator in the middle and it still be solid?
No. You step out of the system, you're on your own. Okay. Now, I showed you one earlier. We did the double pass-through thing. Let's do this. Let's say you really wanted to know what okay? Heads, do a right and left through. Has to be the heads, okay? Heads star through. You got 2 squares on the floor, right? That square do a double pass-through. This square don't do it. Everybody partner trade. Roll the face and check lines of 4. Cue that. Mainstream dancers don't always get that right. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Double pass through. And the leaders, because in the other square the boys are going to be in the lead. Leaders do a U-turn back. And the number one man that started this mess at home in the southwest quadrant is now northeast. Star through. Those facing out California twirl, we're all looking in, up, middle, and back, and you see it coming, right? Okay, so now rather than square through 3, pass the ocean, take a peek, trade the wave, Alamand left, come back to your partner and do a right and left grand, and you're home. That's in book 2. Correct. I did this with 5 squares on the floor once. Heads do a right and left through. Heads star through. And I said, okay, that square over there, do a double pass through. That square on my right, don't do it. This square, have the far column double pass through. Who's the far column? The people furthest from the caller, nose to back. And this square, near column, double pass through. Near column, all 4 of you. Nearest to the caller, all 4 of you. They don't trust you. And you can you see. Now, one square I've got the boys right-handed here and the girls left-handed. Another square I'm going to have left-handed, right-handed. I might have this square's all mixed up. I don't care. I'm looking around to see who's smiling and who's not. Because I know what I'm going to call next. Everybody partner trade and roll. Boy, that glucose works, don't it? Holy smokes. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Double pass through. And rather than just the leaders, you turn back, because this is a substitution you can always do. We don't call cloverleaf enough. All cloverleaf turn away, and the leaders, that's the new centers, do a U-turn back. Did cloverleaf do anything? Did it really do anything? Yeah, the dancers danced something. Quadrant-wise, did it do anything? No. Number one man is still northeast. Star through. Bend the line. That was dumb. But have you ever had somebody star through like from that position? The guy's looking in, and he's got a girl facing him, and he goes to do a star through, and to him that's in, so he twirls the girl under, and he doesn't turn. Bend the line fixes a lot of ills. It really does. Especially if you follow it with up the middle and back. I've called up the middle and back 3 times in a row sometimes. Do a right and left through, turn the girl. Now, who asked the question about, okay, instead of slide through an Alamand left, load the boat. Centers, don't do the last pass through in the middle. Instead, star through and back up. And you're home. It's built right in. It's all in the books. Okay, somebody asked me, okay, both books are $25 a piece, $5, so that goes to the foundation. So, got a few more minutes. Any questions? Got 9 minutes.
Anything you did there outside of an activator or module?
When I said I converted to a module, it was a module. Otherwise, we were doing activators. I at no time went to any form of site calling. But this is the beginning of good site calling. Maybe I should demonstrate that. This is the beginning. This is what site calling is really all about. Because it's really all about the Disneyland ride you're creating for the dancers. It's not about resolution. You have to do that. I mean, in a Disneyland ride, they all come right back to where they started pretty much, right? You got to do that. But it's all about the rush to the top. It's about the quick turn. It's about the smooth wind in the face. It's about all these things you create. Heads do a right and left through. Turn the girl. We're going to start normal. Heads pass the ocean. Good, good, good. Extend. Hinge a quarter. We're normal. Scoot back. But when they come back, they all got it. Take the girl with the right hand now. Cast off 3/4. Boys connect. You got to tell them that. Boys connect. We've started into Activator 2 with that cast. Boys trade. Spin the top. It's normal appearing, but instead of that right and left through, we always call, because the square dance call that came over with Christopher Columbus wrote in a book one time, the swing through, spin the top, and right and left through equals the start through. Forget it. Forget it. It works, but it's so overused. Hinge a quarter. Leaders, girls, that's you. Do a U-turn back. Good. More normal stuff. Do a right and left through. Turn the girl. This is module. This is module. Veer to the left. Ferris wheel. Put them in. I could say center star through in your home, but I don't want to do that. Centers pass through. Touch a quarter. Centers trade. Centers run around the ends. Bend the line. Pass through. Ooh, we've done this wheel and deal too many times. Tag the line all the way through. I'm going to go to one of the activators. I forgot the number. It's later in book 1. We're going to face either right or left depending on what the handedness of the wave was when we began this activator. We were right-handed, correct? Everybody face right. Ferris wheel. Double pass through now. This is not the end of an activator, but the ending of it is open-ended. See, we can run the bases 1, 2, 3, 4 with the men and hit their corners in front of them in all cases. Okay? So I could, of course, say girls U-turn back, star through, bend the line, square through 3, and do the always get out. But after all of that, maybe I want to be tricky. Everybody face left, because I know the girls are in the lead, so I can face, this is in the book, everybody face left. Boys circulate, take her and promenade short. Because you knew at the end of that activator the girls were in the lead. So you know ahead of time that that's possible. How do you know that ahead of time? You read it, you worked it out, and you wrote out that particular stream, and that's what you use. You don't memorize 10 ways to do one activator. You find a way, put it together, make that work, then put the same thing together with a different fraction, make it work. You understand what I'm saying? Mixed in with all the other regular stuff that you do. So you wouldn't do something like this the first sequence of the tip. You wouldn't do it the last sequence of the tip unless you can make it appear normal and get the wow stir the bucket. But in the middle somewhere, maybe you want to throw a little something in. Okay, questions? We have 5 minutes. Questions? Okay. What? In summary. In summary, just my opinion, and $3 will buy you a cup of coffee at most restaurants. In my opinion, the difference between the Activator Stream system and any other system you use is the difference between riding a skateboard and flying a jet airplane. When you can memorize 3 of them and have 12,000 different possible combinations, and that doesn't include the different ways you can get out. That also adds to the number. There's a lot. You can hurt a lot more people more quickly by flying a jet airplane wrong than you can by riding a skateboard wrong. It takes judgment. You have to do it a little bit at a time. You have to blend it with the other things that you're doing. And if you have any questions about it, I answer all emails. Okay? It's a very powerful system. Take it one little bit at a time. And as a last comment, there's just something I read recently, and that is that no matter whether it's this seminar, it's this convention, it's a beginner's class you teach, it's a business meeting at work, whatever it is, when people get together, it doesn't matter what the stated purpose is. What people are really after is feeling a little more powerful when they walk out than when they came in, and I hope we've been able to do that for you today, and I thank you very much. So I have the books here for anybody who wants them, and I'll answer any questions.